Maria, the tribal zoo. A pink cake, and then a raffle. Okay?
Okay, I want to welcome everyone. I'm so excited. I counted at least 25 men here today. Yahoo! That's really getting into the spirit of cooking. We're going to start having the ladies lay around and the men serve dinner.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay, today for quick tips. I'm hoping that everyone can learn something new that they haven't done before. A lot of you will know all these tips except for one I don't think you'll know. But I want to teach you something that I have learned over the last few years. One thing I learned was that I stick my cheese in the refrigerator. I wrap it in plastic wrap and stick it in the refrigerator once it's open. If it is a hard cheese like Parmesan, you put it either in parchment paper in this, leave it out. It tastes so much better. I've been cutting pieces off, and it's been 2 weeks now, and it's better than it's ever been. I think you can do it with a good hard cheddar cheese, or with, Parmesan is perfect for it. It's a real hard cheese. The softer the cheese, all that means is there's more water vapor in it. The harder the cheese, the less water that's in it. Now, I had some cheese I took out. It had a little mold on it. This was a while ago, out of the refrigerator. And I said, well, I'll just cut it off and wrap it up, stick it back in. My friend said, take vinegar, which I'm going to show you right now. You take either apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. Take a paper towel. Wet your paper towel. Do not let it be too wet. I used white vinegar because I figured it had less flavor. It might be good. You open it up. After you cut off the part I told you, the mold, you wrap this around your cheese. Since it's been in the refrigerator, go ahead, put it back in the refrigerator. And it was 3 weeks I took it out, there was no mold on it. I don't know, maybe all of y'all know this. This is something I had no idea. Okay, my next quick tip, I have a stick of butter here, and my 12-year-old granddaughter explained to me, KK, when they tell you to put cold butter into into flour, she said, you don't put the whole stick in there and scream and fuss. She said, you take a grater. I know a lot of you know this. I did not know this, and I'm 37. So you think I want to learn, huh? And my granddaughter's 12. It's my husband's by second marriage, right? Okay, so you go like this, and you get all the little flakes of the butter. We make scones all the time, and it's none of that mess that you have when you're trying, even with a pastry cutter, trying to get it into that flour. So that's my second quick tip. Does everyone know what this is? You see it? This is a garlic press. I didn't bring garlic. I saw a thing on, all of y'all have the Village, or somebody I think posted, the email, not the Village, or the email. And they had a thing where you take garlic and you cut a part of it and you hit it and it comes out, all the little toes are peeled. I hit it, my whole kitchen is full of garlic. None of it came out of its shell, and I was just so mad I threw it all away. So this, you take your garlic, can you come down here? And you do this to the garlic. All of the brown part is up here. I saw a friend doing this. I was up in New York or something. I was at her house and I went, I've been pressing that stuff, and then you have all this sticky part in the press, and it's 2 pieces. This is much easier to clean. So that's my third tip. Now this one, I have a lot of men here, and their wife goes out of town, or if you have grandchildren who are in college, or kids with apartments, this is called a bowl cozy or a bowl hutter. You put your bowl in it, you put your soup. I took some tomato basil the other night, poured it out of the can, put it in the microwave, took it out, and just sat it on my lap and ate it, and then I proceeded to spill it on my shirt. But you can actually take it and, you know, put it on a table like a normal human being. Anyway. So these are at Amazon. They're great stocking stuffers, little gifts for teenagers and all. And they were, for my group of them, they were $16 for 6 plus tax and shipping's free, you know, if you're on Prime. So, and they come in all colors, and someone had made one and given it to me up in my cabin. Then Susie Rudebesto bought one and gave it to me, and I said, you know, I had never seen that before, so I think it's a great idea. I know, like leftover pie, whoa, perfect. Put it right there. Only other tip I have, it's not really a tip, is I did this when I did red beans and rice years ago. My favorite seasoning, Tony Chachere's, without. If you want to take it up a notch, you can buy this at Aldi for under $2. They had it not too long ago. And tonight, for the paella, we went low on salt and low on cayenne. If you're somebody that likes a little seasoning, come up here before you eat and put a little bit of this. Also, if you don't like pepper but you want salt, I have 3 things here. Oh, this is cute. I come from New Orleans, not that you can tell, you know, Lord, no. This is a salt shaker. It's so damp down there. We put rice in our salt. You don't have to. See this thing? It's closed. Salt can't come out. It's open. Isn't that neat? Yeah. So anyway, I have, as you can tell, I like it.
Where did you get that on Amazon?
Huh?
Did you get that on Amazon?
No, I got that at like Bed Bath & Beyond. Do they still have Bed Bath & Beyond?
Yeah.
That's where I got it, and I thought it was a great thing. Oh, one other thing. This is saffron. Tonight, we're substituting turmeric for saffron. We have changed our attitude about how we cook. A lot of us do not go into complicated cooking. We want to have ingredients, and all. Saffron's very expensive. So this is something Susie Rudebesto gave me from, I think it was the year 2001, and it's
95.
Huh?
1995.
1995. Well, normally this would be long strings, but they've kind of dissolved. This little bit of saffron would cost a fortune. You grind it up, put warm water with it. If you really want to make a paella the way they originally made them, you can put saffron. Today, everyone makes it differently, as you'll see, and you don't need saffron. A tip I gave Susie, since she brought me this, was that my daddy always taught me, when you bring home a spice from the store, take a Marks-a-Lot and put the date. And even though it doesn't look good, put it on the back if you're going to display it, you know. And you'll find that 5 years goes by and you think, I just bought that last year. That's another quick tip, okay? Those are the only tips I have.
One more thing about Kay. If you like any of these attractions that you put out, go to the back of her car, she'll open the trunk and show them to you.
Okay, we're going to talk about king cake. And Chuck's bound determined he's going to put his microphone on his bulletin on my king cake. So when you get ready to do a king cake, I've already started it. It actually takes a while. There's a recipe on your table. The recipe on your table is exactly like this. The only reason I buy a box is because if you're doing 6 of them, everything's measured out, and it's quite a production. I had everything done before 11 o'clock this morning. I didn't start until 8, and I had all the king cakes done, but they take a while. So you're going to first start and put your flour and your yeast, and you're going to mix that together, and then you're going to put a stick of butter, and then you're going to put and you're going to mix it in, and I always use my mixer, and yes, they're real cute. They give you a bag and tell you can knead this by hand. I don't need anything by hand anymore. I have a mixer that'll do this. So I put mine in the mixer and it just twirls it around in 3.5 minutes. It's totally done and I haven't kneaded anything. So then you let it rise till it's double, and that's where this one is right now. It's rose till it's double. So then you just pull it right out of the bowl, And you can see it's dough so it doesn't stick. So we're going to go ahead and pull it out. Now, I always roll mine out. I know some people like wax paper, but it really, I use parchment paper because it's easier. It's supposed to be 5 inches by 30 inches, so you're going to be pulling it long, so you can just kind of pull it out. Put a little bit of flour on it so it can roll. So you're going to do this. It's got to be 5 by 30 inches. Well, guess what? Everybody knows your hand, when you hold it out like this, is about 5 inches. Your arm is 36 inches, so that can tell you about how long this is going to be. So then you're going to take your rolling pin and you're going to roll this out and make it into a rectangle. And you can see it's real easy. You're just rolling it on out to be 5 by 30. And I love my rolling pin because you can hold it. You know, most of them you have to have 2 hands. This is a one-handed deal, so you just roll it on out, and you can see the dough rolls out real easy, 5 by 13. So now you've got the 5 by 13 now, 5 by 30. So now you've got your filling mix. This is the other good thing about buying the box. I don't have to mix anything. I just dump the filling mix in with the melted butter, stir it up. This one's not going to have any nuts. The ones over here do. When you get ready to add nuts to your food, if it says add nuts, please take your pecans, put them on a sheet, put them in an oven at 375, 3 to 5 minutes. They'll toast. They will not burn. And you just kind of shake them up, do them, and they bring the nutty flavor out. Otherwise, you've got raw pecans. Now think about that. Most people don't think about it that way, but they're raw. You really want to toast them, whether you're putting them in your oatmeal or whatever. After you toast them, you can put them right back in a bag in your freezer. So now we've got this mixed up. So we're just going to spread it out on the dough. And this is the part that takes the longest, is just putting this out on the dough, and you can see. And then if you've got pecans, you can just sprinkle the pecans, the chopped pecans, right over this mixture. Now, you're going to roll it, most people roll things up like this. We're going to roll it this way. So you're going to start and roll it up like this. So you're going to roll it up, and you want it kind of tight. And when you get to the end, and you know what, I should have pulled it this way because I'm blocking everybody's view. And when you get to the end, you're just going to mash it together, just like you would the edge. So you're just going to pull it together. Then you're going to put your plate out. And this is real flexible. Look at this. You can pick it up. You can do anything with this now. You're going to put the thing down. You're going to put this you're going to put this into the little hole you made, pinch it together, spread it out a little bit, and guess what? It's ready. But now we're going to talk about king cakes. How did king cakes start? Are you ready for this? How many ever heard of medieval times? You know, that was a long time ago. Well, guess what? King cakes have been around since medieval times for the exact same reason they're around now. In medieval times, the religious people would bake king cakes between Epiphany and of course end on the first day of Lent, because they knew they were supposed to give up something. Of course, if you really read, you're not supposed to give up food, you're supposed to give up a bad habit. But the bad habit happened to be king cakes. So every country had their own king cakes. But in 1870, the French brought their king cakes over to New Orleans. However, guess what? If you were to have a French king cake, it would be more like a little puff pastry with the insides. And then they would put almonds on top, and instead of a baby, they put a pea in it. Yeah, like a pea. I was like, okay. In New Orleans, they decided to kind of go with the Spanish king cakes. Like I said, these were all over Europe. But the Spanish king cakes actually have other things in them, and they were made more with a crescent dough instead of like a puff pastry like you'd find in France. However, are you ready for this? Bulgaria does it, and they do it with a pastry like a yeast roll like we're doing. However, if you go to Greece, they have phyllo dough, and they use their phyllo dough and have cream cheese in it and almonds. So all different things have been used throughout the time. They used to bake the baby in them because the baby used to be porcelain. Well, when they started making plastic ones, they quit baking them in there because, we just can't have that plastic baby in there. So, but some people have put a coin in there. Now that's pretty nasty sounding too. And of course, if you went to France, it'd be that pea. I can't believe they still put a pea in there. But anyway, but you don't bake it in, you put it in. And then the tradition says, whoever gets the baby, and each of these king cakes has a baby, whoever gets the baby next year, y'all get to be up here and y'all get to have the party for us. So we're all 120-something of us are coming to somebody's house for a party. So, we're going to let this rise, then we're going to put it in the oven. This is what takes so long, is they have to rise the first time, then you spread them out, real easy in between, but we're going to let it rise just a few minutes, and then we're going to stick it in the oven for 20 minutes, so it doesn't take long. And when we get ready, we're going to put the colors on it. Green means you got faith. So if you get a green piece, you have faith. If you get gold or the yellow, you got power. But if you're the purple person, you're the justice. You stand for justice. So it's justice, faith, and power. That's what the three colors mean. And like I said, New Orleans didn't get them until 1870, but they've been having them ever since. And everybody since Middle Ages have used them to celebrate and start the Lenten season.
Okay, we're going to start making our paella. Now, show them the pan, Cindy. The reason paella is named paella is for the pan. This is a paella pan, so what they cooked in it was paella. Okay. This pan that Cindy has, I believe, is made out of tin, and I have the same one. You can get it made out of different things. If you don't have a pan, you want to make this at home. I made it in my Teflon 12-inch frying pan. It doesn't crisp as good. It takes a little longer to cook because tin, really, the heat comes through pretty quickly. So Cindy is going to start. If everybody has a recipe, if you want to look at it, we tried to, when she starts cooking the chicken, I'll tell you about how we came up with this recipe. Cindy's putting olive oil in the pan because this tin pan said do not put the heat on without something in it. So she has olive oil in the pan. Do you have any gloves? Okay. I still smell gas. Okay, so she has 2 tablespoons of olive oil. When that heats up, when that heats up, she's going to throw in half-inch pieces of chicken thigh. I like to salt my chicken thighs when I put them in. You don't have to do that. If you want a softer diet, you can take this recipe and almost cut out most of the salt. It has enough flavor in it and just get something from it. That tastes good. We're using chorizo sausage. Excuse me, I just have to mention. We're using chorizo sausage, which we get at Publix. You get a pound for about $6.95 with chorizo sausage. And we cut it up in small pieces and we brown them right now. You brown your chicken and your sausage so that you good tasting stuff in the bottom. I don't know how it's stuff. But that's what you're going to eat away later with wine. It's really, really what makes it. If you don't do your food first in the mix with olive oil, you're not going to get this flavor. Now, you don't have to cook this thoroughly because you're going to cook all of this with the rice and all that long. So it doesn't have to be thoroughly cooked.
God, that smells good.
We started out saying, can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me better now? Okay, paella. Okay, where did paella come from? In Spain, Valencia, toward the east coast, that was the only area where they could grow wonderful, white, thick, short grain rice. And they call it mamba rice. So the Muslims came in, I think it was 700. They were called Moors. Moors are Muslim people from other countries that moved into places like Sicily, which they did around the same time, and they inhabited Spain. So the Moors had taken over. That doesn't mean there were not other nationalities. The Jews were there. Basically, the Christians were not. In fact, the Jews acted as helpful. They were almost in a symbiotic relationship to an extent because they could communicate. Christians hated them less than the Muslims. So it was a kind of a relationship that way. So from 700 till 1492, when they had the reconquest of it, and the Christians took back Spain, they had been growing rice and bringing spices in, especially saffron. So they went ahead and the Moors left, so around 1830 in Valencia, they started making what they call the first paella. Now, the paella they made was made from rabbit, which they could have, snails, and 3 different kinds of beans, and saffron. It was always cooked. It was always cooked on an open fire, so they could crisp it up really well. So, and then even the outside would have a smoky taste. So tonight we're using smoked paprika to give it a taste, and turmeric to taste the flavor of saffron. Now, we actually wanted to make the original paella, so I sent Cindy's friend over here out, and she went out, and she was able to get 62 snails from all your yards. And I was told, I said, Cindy, if each person can't have a snail, we're not going to put it in. So we released them all in her his yard, okay? So then we said, well, maybe we could make it with rabbit. So I went to the butcher shop and asked him if we could make it with rabbit. And he said, I'll have rabbit for you, but it won't be till Easter Sunday. So okay, so we decided on these 2 ingredients. The reason we're not doing seafood is that someone might have a deal out with you, and we're not even going to take that chance. I personally like shrimp. They did not put seafood in. The Muslims didn't eat seafood. They did not put pork. We put pork. It's not made of pork, and I'm not sure. So you can see it's getting nice and brown, Cindy.
Yes.
And now we're not cooking this on a low fire. We're cooking it on my stove between 6 and hot. I don't know if my stove is that, but we keep it pretty high because you have to crisp it as much as you can on the outside to get that brown liquid in there. He just happens to be the president of the Culinary Club. Do y'all know Chuck Friend? When he was just a teeny tiny baby, he ran with the bulls. Well, maybe not a baby. So Chuck he was actually in Spain running with the bulls. So he's going to tell us about his experience running with the bulls in Spain.
She has already had too much sangria.
There you go. That was last year.
All right, that was the day before the 103rd running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. And these are 2 friends from Florida. The dark-haired girl next to me, I don't know. But it was a time when I had a lot of hair. So it was years ago. things we found out in Spain was the wines, the red wines, and sangria was one of them. Now, we'd never had sangria before, but we knew the night before the running of the bulls, there was a huge party all over the city. The choice drink is special sangria. It is red wine, 4 ounces, comes in a cup, 4 ounces of a red hot table wine, and 4 ounces of Coca-Cola. One of the nastiest things you'll ever taste. But any Spaniard under 30 loved it because they could drink it for hours, and hours later, you would see them climbing monuments. They would get to the top, look at the crowd, and leap. Sometimes the crowd caught them, and sometimes they didn't. It's sort of population control, I believe. The next day was the running of the bulls, and both men were allowed in. Women were not allowed to run with the bulls. I'll get to that later. And so we walk in and we're handed a newspaper. I couldn't read it. You don't read it. You roll it up because you want to hit the bulls when they come by. We stood with probably 10,000 Spanish males, again, most under the age of 30, some of them sober. The first 3 bulls come by, they run out, and they're slapping it. One guy tries to do a handstand as he goes over the bull. These animals aren't like ours. They're shorter, they're longer, the horns go out, and they look like little freight engines just running down. We followed them for a while, and we came to a large area where we could sit back against the fence. There were probably 100 feet of us and 10 deep. 7 bulls come by, same slapping, gymnastics. 6 of the bulls go on. 1 bull stops, and he turns and he looks at this crowd. And we're wondering what he's going to do. He charges the crowd and said, we were 10 deep. It was the splitting of the Red Sea at that point. Just, we curled apart, and when you do that, and you don't quite know which way you're going to go, you trip. And the first person trips the next. And we had a wave as the people felt the waves were just coming in and filling up the area. I thought about it afterwards and said, you know, this is one of the dumbest things that man could do. But I think it's 5 years later, they allow women in. And that equal right allows you to be just as stupid as all of us. The classic sangria, however, is made with table wine, triple sec or Gras, orange juice. Anyone have a comment on that?
What's the proportion?
Well, it is something that you determine the proportions on. You taste it along the way. You can add a little sugar to sweeten it. You can add other fruit. Now that's the classic, but over the last 20 years, you have blackberry, peach, you have almost anything that you would put in if you like the flavor. Water, drinking water is hazardous. What they would do to rectify that is mix the wine and the water. And alcohol would kill the bacteria and germs in the water. Well, this went on until, well, 1492 was a good date, but it is a bit later than that, 17th century. Spain had colonies in the New World, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean islands. Settlers going over concocted a combination of the red wine, which we had in barrels. Okay, are we ready? Because she's
Okay, I told her to turn the fire down since the previous speaker kept going on. It was worth it, wasn't it? Yeah. So we're gonna put the fire back on. We have the garlic in now. Now, once she has a pretty hot fire going there. You could probably turn it up definitely to high away, because this is a better stove to cook on. And so she has the onion, she's put the garlic, bell pepper, and the tomato. Now she's going to go ahead and put the meat back into the dish.
No, wait,
She cooked earlier.
I need to deglaze.
Huh?
Deglaze.
Oh, she's going to deglaze the pot with a half cup of white wine. We found that if you buy these little bottles, just a half a cup to each little bottle. That way, if you have them at home with different dishes, you can always throw in a half a bottle, a little bottle, and you don't have to open a whole big bottle, although we like opening the big bottle. We would have a half a cup at the end of the day to put it on the bake. Okay. So see what she's doing? She's deglazing the pan. Can you smell it? Oh, so good. See her deglazing, getting the dripping off the bottom where they won't stick. Now, she's going to go ahead and put in her chicken and her sausage. She's going to stir that in. Now, we're using chicken broth in a big bottle. You can use benedict broth, which is you put a teaspoon, it's kind of a thick liquid, and you mix it with hot water, and you can use that to make your stock. You can boil chicken, use that for your stock. We're using just one of the ones you buy. She's putting the spices, the turmeric. Look at your recipe and you know how much. We did turmeric and smoked paprika to give it the smoky flavor. Now, she's going to go ahead, mix that up, and then put the chicken stock. This is where you can buy the unsalted chicken stock for the people who can't have salt. If you wanted to put shrimp, you should do your shrimp the same time that you do your chicken and your sausage. Take it out. Shrimp only take about 3 minutes to cook. Then you can add it back in. They have lobster in them today. The cute little clams make them beautiful. If you go to any restaurant, green peas. We put green peas in. I haven't really tasted them so much in there, but it sure does look pretty. So when she gets all of the liquid off, she's going to kind of make everything even. Your paella is not going to be that pretty yellow, poofy stuff you've seen in pictures. There are 100 ways to make it. The original way is at the end of the day, you can turn your pan sideways and it's not going to come out. It's going to be like bread pudding. It's going to be thick. You can stand a spoon in it. Now Cindy up here, Cindy Friend, and that's not Chuck Friend, it's Cindy Friend. She's been to Spain where they cooked a paella, and she showed me a picture that looks a lot like what we came up with. So now she has her liquid in there. Did you even it out?
Yep.
Okay, the secret to cooking it is to cook it with the top open. We want it to dry out as much as it can. It takes 10 minutes on the stove, and it might even take less. This stove is really has a wonderful fire, and she's keeping it up high. At the end of the 10 minutes, that rice, that bomba rice, it takes forever to get soft. If you don't cook it long enough, it's going to be so, it's going to be tough. So she will cook it 10 minutes high, turn it down, cook it low. After we cook it low, we'll put foil over it. After we put foil over it, it'll sit 5 minutes and it'll be done. Now, me, I'd be taking chartreuse all over it, but we can't do that. So remember, it's up here. We're going to have everyone have a helping that we made yesterday. so you can taste what it's like. And if anybody wants to, in an orderly fashion, if you want to come up and see it, if you can't see it on film, you can come see what she's doing. Now, do we have any other ingredients have to go in?
Nope, just have.
That's the whole thing. You can do this at home. And we tried 3 or 4 different ways, and we found this was the easiest and the tastiest. So I think you'll like it.
Okay, we're ready to decorate.
Perfect. Perfect timing. Are you ready to decorate?
Okay, if you find another
You can use this one. This one may be easier.
And my assistant now is going to, Sandy is now, if you notice, she looks like Vanna White up here, is getting ready to decorate our king cake. So the first thing we're going to do, however, is we're just going to lift it up and we're going to stick the baby right there. So, and that nobody eats it, but somebody gets it, because remember, we're coming to your house to party. So if it's not quite runny enough, you need to add a little bit more water to it. That's why I told you, probably 3. So she's going to do that. And then, I have to tell you, our box, we opened it up and it's only got 2 colors. So I don't know what happened. I know, isn't that terrible? So nobody has any justice tonight. There is no justice in this. And now she's going to just pour this, scoop it right over the top. This is so easy. Y'all are all going to be able to make king cakes after this.
I don't cook, so it must be easy.
And I don't know if you heard what Sandy says, but she just told the tale. She says she doesn't cook, so it's got to be easy for her to be able to do these.
Okay, I don't know about that. Oh, yes.
Here. So we just cut the top off, and she's just going to do every other one green and every other one yellow. And you can see, this is it's just so easy to do. So, we all know, we've all seen her dance at Rumors and the other dances, we know she can dance. But now she says now she can dance. Just
She can also hula hoop.
She can also hula hoop, we found that out.
Yes, I am.
Now's the best part, is that you just take your, and this is delicious warm. You just take your knife, you cut a piece,
It's good.
and there's the inside of the king cake.
It's beautiful. So, Kay, do you want to talk about while we're starting now? There was supposed to be something I said on the starting.
Oh, I think you're serving it.
Yeah.
It is. I told you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Working with it. But guess what? It's good.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Thank you, Tommy.
Oh my goodness.
Very sharp cheddar, but the name will blow you away. It is Cranky Old Lady Cheese. It is absolutely my favorite. Now, if you should win this, and you're not a cranky old lady, I'm sure you know someone you could give it to. Okay, so let's draw for this one. Okay, let's see. Mary Lou, she's a very fair person, unless you drew her own. 7582.
He's not cranky enough.
Obviously, we're all going to want to sit at this table next time. Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to talk about April. It's going to be, so far we've had a taste of France, a taste of Spain or Carnival. Next month is a taste of Italy. So next month, you won't have to dress up or anything, but let's plan on all the men coming back. This was fun. Did the men enjoy it? Okay, next month we hope we see you again. And it'll be the second Wednesday at 6:30.
Next month, I'll tell you about my early childhood. Good night, all. God's faith.